you're not there. Right. And that's been scaring me the most of like, I've wasted too much time, right, on things that don't matter, people that didn't serve me, relationships that were toxic, said yes too many times. I've donated so much of myself to the wrong places. And that's why even today I was like, we're not missing shooting this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so glad we rescheduled because I was like, man, I've got to stay on certain things. I think our voices need to be heard. I think we need to be standing in front of people talking.
Yeah.
I know I'm here for a different reason. I know you're here for a different reason. There's more to this, and we just need to start going and having the right conversations and manifest this.
So what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Seed Time and Harvest podcast. This is episode 2 with my main man, Alex Chapman. This is Nate Forse, and we're super excited to bring this to you guys.
Going into these, you know, and watching our last episode, my son was like, "Don't you hate listening to your own voice?" I was like, no way, dude. I was like, it's, you know, you criticize yourself. You're harder on yourself than others are. It was really cool watching it.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, I don't know if this happened to you, like, as we started posting the link and different things. So a lot of people watched it.
Yeah. A lot of positive feedback.
People, I'm like, okay, people like the message. People like what we were saying. So I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's funny because it's just like me and you having a conversation. Like, we talk like this all the time.
Yeah.
We're just happening to throw a camera on and an audio, you know? Well, we wanted to go into why we called this a Seed Time and Harvest podcast. And I'd love your take on this as well, Alex. But for me, I think of it as like a universal law. And once I learned this, it's like, this is the way our world is set up. It's like I can take a rock and throw it in the ocean. It's going to sink 100% of the time. I can get upset that it sinks and try to figure out why it doesn't. But I can either like align with that law and just realize this is the way it works, or I can try to fight it. And that to me is what Seed Time and Harvest is. There's a planting season, there's a watering season and fertilizing season, and then there's going to be a harvest season. And you could try to speed that up like I did a lot of my life, or you could just align with it and say, this is the way it works. So if I'm not getting what I want, for me, it's like not being so results focused and focus on process more. And so that's to me what Seed Time or Harvest is. And I hope whoever is listening to this just has some form of taking this into application. It's like knowledge without application means nothing. And so if you're able to say, man, I'm not getting what I want right now, but I'm just in time. I just need to start planting more. And if you can develop a little bit more patience with this process, that to me is a win. That's my whole focus with this podcast, no matter where this thing goes. So I'd love your thoughts on it too.
It was honestly, when you and I were texting back and forth, trying to come up with names, and I was always in the camp of like, almost like, God, what's his name? Gary Vaynerchuk. How do you say his last name? Is that it? Gary Vaynerchuk?
Just Gary V.
Gary V. Gary V. I was watching Gary V like 2011, 10, 11 on YouTube, right? And I just remember him, for whatever reason, I got stuck on this guy. And he's pretty, if you're younger, you're watching him, it's like, oh man, like, and he always said, like, just start making content, just start doing stuff, just start putting it out. And then but then he also said, like, dude, who gives a shit about the name?
Yeah.
You could call it Alex Real Estate. You call it Alex Fitness. No one cares. It's the culture. It's the brand. It's how you treat your customers, blah, blah, blah. Because people used to go to him and be like, what should we name it? What should we name it? And then you're like texting me the names. And I've always been so bad at names. Like my dad came up with B1 Real Estate.
Yeah.
Right. Like my brother-in-law came up with Fitness on the Rocks. My brother-in-law came up with Fitness in the City. Like I was never the guy that was like, this is what we should call it. And this is what the logo should look like. And so when you were texting me this, I was like, dude, I don't know, dude, what we should call this, you know? And then you're like Seed Time and Harvest. And it's so relevant because, and my take on the whole thing is delayed gratification, right? And it is truly what you and I are living. Like we live planting seeds and not knowing what is going to happen for extended periods of time. I don't think everyone embraces that in today's society because we're in such a now culture. I want it now.
Instagram, Instacart.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Give it to me. My kids, your kids will get that way. Like we probably are kind of similar like that. DoorDash. You don't want to cook tonight. You're just immediately lazy because you can send it. So Seed Time and Harvest was impactful because I started to, if I'm going to be on camera, talking about things. Like I have to be authentic. I'm not going to be like some phony dude up here talking. People that watch are going to know if it's me or if I'm trying to posture myself in some kind of way. Same with you.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be real. You have to believe in what you're speaking about, or what are you doing? You're fake. Right. And so to me, I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. So when he said that, it was like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's like perfect. Right. It was like not even a few names in. I was like, that's it. That's the one. Because, we are in whatever form of your life, like you have to take the time to make something great. You put whether it's your business, you got to put the time in. You can have little wins. You can win here. You can win there. You can have a good year. But like to harvest and to keep growing and to keep going and to have the sustainable business or sustainable relationship with yourself, your kids, with God, your health, whatever, it's never overnight. Delayed gratification to me is like the seed time and harvest is the delayed gratification. Like you have to know that what I'm doing right now, I don't even know if it's ever going to net me the results that I think maybe millionaire, or maybe I'll be able to buy that. No, but I'm still going to do all the right steps and hope that, it says that this is where I'll get, but you have to it's putting a lot of faith in the seeds that you're planting too. So it's like, to me, it's just all about delayed gratification and the steps and the disciplines that go into it. Because, dude, our culture, man, guys like us will run away with a lot of things because we think like this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. Is it just gives you is such a huge advantage, with seed time and harvest. And you actually, like, I'm talking to you all the time. Like, I always walk away from our conversations like, huh. I always think more, or you send me some link on some crazy shit, and I'm like, oh man, that's so true. I sent you one, and you're like, yep, it's out there. These people are, they're planning this agenda. This is happening, So to me, it's just all about delayed gratification, but also doing the right things. Mm-hmm. I'll end my rant with this of when I was 18 years old. I was a knucklehead, dude. I was a good kid, and I wasn't a bully. I wasn't mean or anything, but I was like, I would always get into shit. Like I was constantly doing something I shouldn't have been doing, like just in situations I shouldn't have been in, whether it be a fight or I was drinking or whatever. And I was 18 years old, and I had to take like freshman algebra as a senior, right? To graduate, because I had missed this credit years ago. Yeah. And they're like, hey, you got to go take this. So every morning I'd have to get to school before everyone else. And I would sit with this kid. He was high functioning. He had high functioning autism. Like he's like a genius, like Rain Man. Yeah. Fraser Carson, dude. Shout out Fraser Carson.
What's up, Fraser?
Yeah. And he was, I was like 14, 15 years old. Like emotionally, psychologically, I was like, doing things that he couldn't even, equations and stuff, it was his jam. I was like living life, girls, partying, sports, all this stuff. So I'd come in every Monday morning, and he'd be like, do you have any stories for me? And I would like tell him these stories. And he would just, one time as we were like wrapping up the semester, he was like, Alex, I got to ask you a question. Why do you insist on living life in the fast lane? And I was like, oh, come on, bud. He was like, you do understand that you're going to get to the end so much quicker. Slow down. And dude, this kid was 14, and I'll never, here I am 39 years old, and I can vividly remember sitting there with this kid and just being like, I know.
Fraser dropped the ball.
So
that's,
and you lived a life, like you've lived through some things, like you've lived a superstar life. 100% you lived a rock star life.
Yeah.
You're an athlete. Like tell more about, let me hear more about that. Like, so how is it like keeping it like seed time and harvest, being present, how it kind of shaped you, with the decisions you're making today? Cause they weren't always these choices, right? You didn't always have this mindset.
It's funny you're talking. There's a perfect segue into like your presence is a present. Uh-huh. And I think one of the things, like a good check to know that you're not present is when life is like flying by. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's already the end of the year. Like, what did I do with this year? And that's the trap most people are in because, oh, New Year's resolution, I'm going to be a different person this year. But then you get to the end of the year and it's the same resolution you had next year because you don't take the seed time and harvest to start small. Like it says, don't discount a small beginning. Like everything starts small. This podcast, full transparency. We didn't have a name when we launched it. We just knew we wanted to launch it and the way presented itself. And so, yeah, like I think a lot of my life has just flown by because I haven't been present. I've been so focused on the next thing, this and that. Go to this, I got to accomplish this.
Yeah.
That it's like, you look back, you're like, what happened in my 20s? Like that was like, it's gone. And I'm a firm believer, like we're going to get to where we're going one day and we're going to have a conversation. Like, what did you do with what you were given? Did you maximize it or did you waste it away? And I think that's the biggest, I don't say I have fears, but it's like, that's the biggest fear I would say I have is like getting to the end of this.
To the end and the shit's just over.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't go back.
You're afraid of death?
You know, that's a great question. Like I think the way we visualize death of like, oh, just the end. That's the end of this experience. I believe we go and we live on. It's like, where were you before this? You think of all the stories, like little kids talking about like, Mommy, I saw you in heaven. Jesus came and talked to me and I got to pick you. And then like all of a sudden, then you're in this experience called life here on earth. And it's like, well, what's the point of us being here then, right? And to me, it's you're meant to impact as many people as you can. But if you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off and you're stressed out, then you can't. Like it says, you cannot serve two masters. So I can't be stressed and in peace at the same time. I'm either in peace or I'm in stress. It's like stress is the achiever's word for fear, right? Oh, I'm stressed. I'm feeling this. It's like, but are you really? And to me, that goes right back to presence. If I'm present, I would say I got more going on in my life than I've ever had right now. You too. I know you're in the same boat. And that's why I wanted to chat about this. I think the best content you can have is what you're actually going through.
Well, I mean, we're talking about death a little bit in time.
Yeah.
I've never been my whole life. I've never been afraid of dying. I've always thought of it though, because I've experienced it like at a young age. You know, my brother died when I was 9. You know, I had friends in high school that passed, whether it be car accident, suicide, people that you were with like the day before. I felt like I was always in some tragic funeral. I've lost 3 cousins, over the last, handful of years, and, my mom's sisters and brothers, like their only kids, and watching all this happen. And then just recently I was at a funeral, and on Saturday, I'm sitting next to one of my business partners, and we're talking and, kind of whispering in the funeral or whatever. And they're doing this slideshow of this young man, and, 24 years old, rest in peace, just gone too soon. But it was probably the hardest it ever hit me when it came to time, because, I'm 39. I'm watching my stepmom at, she's 79, or no, I'm sorry, 81. She got a week to live a week ago, right in hospice. My grandmother passed away like a few months ago. She was 96. Yeah. And everyone just starts talking about the ages of everybody. And then I was thinking of like 39 and my grandmother's 96. You start thinking about that time. And then of all the time that you're really like able and healthy, like you start creeping up over 60 something.
Yeah.
What are you really doing physically? Because we both love to stay active and get it and different things. And so I don't think fear is the right word, but lately I've just been like, whoa,
aware.
Like we're not here that long. And the amount of time we waste with shit like Instagram and Netflix binging and just stuff that you're just like zombied out. Yeah. Like not present with anything. Maybe you're present with a movie because you like films, or a Netflix documentary because you love watching some cool shit. But you're just kind of like, you're not there. Right. And that's been scaring me the most, of like, I've wasted too much time, right? On things that don't matter, people that didn't serve me, relationships that were toxic, said yes too many times. I've donated so much of myself to the wrong places. And this past like 2 weeks, I've been very much so in my head of like, that's why even today I was like, we're not missing shooting this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so glad we rescheduled because I was like, man, I've got to stay on certain things. I think our voices need to be heard. I think we need to be standing in front of people talking.
Yeah.
I know I'm here for a different reason. I know you're here for a different reason. It's not to slang houses. Like, this is a platform is great.
Yeah.
It's not to be in a little office in the back of Compass shooting this. Like, there's more to this, and we just need to start going and having the right conversations and manifest this. Because I'm definitely in like a very fearful, anxious moment of time of like, well, we have a lot to do.
Yeah.
Dude, ever since this happened, I've been popping up out of bed 4:30. No alarm, nothing. I got to go. I got to get moving.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to die. We got to get shit to go clean this up. We got to go. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, it's like, to get to your question, I don't feel like I have a fear of death because I do know where I'm going after this thing. I do have a healthy fear, like you said. It's like a sense of urgency.
That's a better way of putting it.
I wasted so much time in my life getting drunk, getting high, all this other stupid stuff, chasing girls, like not living in my purpose, that as I've found it recently, it's like, it's go time. So I don't really do coffee with people anymore because I really don't have time, you know? And it's like, you're right.
Come to the team meeting.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of time here. Like, I just turned 40. And so I remember,
scary, dude.
Yeah.
40's fucking scary age, dude.
I remember on my birthday card, my dad wrote, he's like, can't believe you lived half your life already. And I'm like,
oh, I don't
believe that because I'm going to live to 120. Like, I firmly believe that. But
really?
The point being is like, either way, that's a third. Even if you look at it that way. And it's like, man, now's the time. And to me, that ties into that presence piece of like, if you're not present, life is just, and you're going to wake up one day and be 70 and like, where did it go?
Dude.
You know? And so you look at like our age, I think it's one reason we get along well. It's like most men, I believe, don't find their wealth. I think the average wealth is found at age 42. And I think that has more to do with your mindset than it does like the physical
wealth, like financial.
Yeah, like the nuts and bolts of getting wealthy, you know?
Sounds about right. Yeah. All right, I'm falling into the average.
It's like your 20s, it's like you're still trying to find out who you are.
Yeah.
And I remember my barber when I was 18, he's like, you're not going to know what you want in life till you're really about 30. And it was legit 29. I got done playing football and I started coaching in the fitness industry. And I realized like, man, this is like this. Like, I want to change people's lives. Like, selling houses is great, but that's a vehicle to change my family's life, to create a legacy for my future family, my kids, but then also to show people like, hey, this is what is actually possible. Because I've talked about it a lot, but I was stressed out about money. I was behind on my bills all the time. Like, it wasn't really living in freedom, because that to me is like, everything is freedom. If I'm not free, then like if I have to do something to get money, then I'm tied to whatever that is.
Did you? It was here. So like, I'm gonna ask you a question. So see how I frame this question. So like, when you say like the average age is 42, that you accumulate your wealth and you kind of like inflow financially or whatever. You and I've talked about this a lot. I'm just curious if you think the same way I do. But like, if you ever gone through it and be like, you see someone on Instagram or some other person you're talking to or some client that we've both had like balling ass clients now, where you're just like, damn, how did they get that? You know, and comparing yourself to that next man or the next woman or whoever is, and like, you're just like, man, not resentful or like a hater, but you're just like, damn, where did I go wrong? What did I not do? Where did I not focus? How did I lose that opportunity? Was I not awake? Was I not present?
Yeah.
And you start to go through this like almost like self-sabotage of like, I'm not good enough. How come I don't have my money? Oh shit, I'm going through this divorce.
Yeah.
You know, I'm losing all this stuff. I had built such a great thing and now it's like swung this way. And you start to, it's really hard to like stay above and stay like, you know, I think that's why we get along.
Yeah.
Because no matter what turbulence is going on, we can like look at each other on the plane and calmly and be like, we're good. it's going to be a rough ride.
Yeah.
But we're straight. We're going to be all right. And it's like, but do you do that? Do you compare yourself? Do you ever go through like a self-sabotaging? Like, dude, I should be more successful.
Yeah.
Does that bother you? Like, I should have gone to the league. Did that eat you up?
That used to be my whole entire life. Like,
that ate you up. Huh?
I'd have a game and even going back to like feedback, like we talked about feedback in our meeting yesterday, I'd get coaching on something like, well, you could have run this route better, right? I'd be like, well, I read it better at so-and-so. And that was my immediate thought of like, oh, well, I compared. It was comparison all the time. Well, Alex is taller than me. Well, he's tanner than me. Like, and I was so insecure as a kid about everything. And it's like your greatest challenge becomes your greatest opportunity when you learn from it. And so it's like, even going back, it's all to me seed time and harvest, understanding that. Because I remember joining B1, walking into a room of all a bunch of dudes that are the same height, size as me, but all were more financially successful. In the past, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I got to do this. I got to hustle to get up to Alex's level. Mm-hmm. But it was just to me, hey, he did it, so that's the path. I can do it too. It's just going to take me time to get there. And I think I know I'm so grateful that I learned this and am learning it still and practicing it, because coming into an environment 5 years ago like that, I would have been stressed out of my mind.
Really?
Working till midnight every night, trying to speed up.
Marriage is all jacked up.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, you got to go through this stuff, because it's like, you have to learn the lesson and pass the lesson, because you're always going to be tested. And then if you pass the test, then it's saying, hey, God, hey, universe, I'm ready for more. I've passed it. This is Mario Brothers. I'm past level 1. I can't go back. There's no cheat code here. I've learned it and I'm ready for more. And so it's like, that's really what it is, bro.
It is, man. I mean, it's hard. It is really like, and it was funny when you were telling your story at the team meeting of like that whole situation and your house and your client, like kind of like tying it all in. What I always forget is like, there's a lot of kids that work with us, right? Like 21, 22, 23 years old. And when you're around them, you're not, to me, I always like, because we're all in the same room, I almost like just instinctively look at everyone as a peer. Mm-hmm. This is like that inclusive mindset I've always had of like, no, dude, you're one of us. Get in here. It's like, God, there's so many levels to this.
Yeah.
And I've had to only recently have I been like, wow, like right now, my life, like everything we're going through, business changes, buying out partners, finding out all this stuff, all that turbulence you go through as a business owner and an operator. But then like, I was like, damn, I feel like I'm at rock bottom. But then I feel like I like looked out and I was like, whoa, I'm on like the 30th floor.
Yeah.
So my rock bottom has changed.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm still levels up, right? Like I still have to keep climbing. I still have levels to go. But my rock bottom was very nice to know, wow, my rock bottom is partnering with Nate, Mikey, Isaac. Look at Krieger. Look at all the people that we're able to like. Yeah, like we're so blessed to be around. How smart everyone is, and you know how
don't be the smartest guy in the
room. No, how efficient. Oh man, I'm far from the smartest guy in the room now. That when we all sit down, I'm just like, yeah, dude, let him do that, you know. And coming to all these realizations. So it's just, it's interesting. It's this like mind, you know, like just mind, like I'm just like torn because I'm like, oh my God, I've wasted so much time. But then I look over here and I'm like, wow, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. So I'm in this battle right now of like, man, how did I lose all this? Like, how did I lose all this? And then I'm like, wait, like we're growing. Yeah. Like we're killing it. We're one of the number one teams with this. We're one of the number one teams with that. We're around studs. I get to partner with Nick. So I have to, and dude, honestly, as corny as some people can say, I don't think but like going through the path of like God and trying to really understand God other than outside of just like hiding behind a religion or Catholicism or something like that. But like, no, take the religions out of it and just think of where you go when you feel completely helpless. You're always, any one of them, oh, please God, I swear, if you just let me out of this, I won't ever do that again. Yeah. You know, I think everyone in the world has done that. You know what I mean? But once you get up to that, you're like, well, no, I wouldn't have this happening if I couldn't handle it. So I just have to find out why it's happening. Yeah. because it's not happening to me. You said this in a meeting as well.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that statement. It's not happening to me. It's happening for me. It's happening with me.
Yeah.
Now, how do I navigate this? Who do I need a partner? How am I going to learn from this?
It's this
Do I
weird,
take ownership of this?
it's
You know
this
what I mean?
weird dichotomy of like learning from the past and understanding like I'm right where I need to be, even though you may have wasted a lot of freaking time.
Oh, dude, I've wasted so much.
Same, bro.
It's
But
so
like
sad.
understanding like I'm right where I need to be. To me, that goes right back into seed time and harvest, but it's ties into presence. It's like if you're present with that, it's like it's okay. But if you're thinking about the past, that's also robbing you of your presence, right? Like they say, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
Yeah.
I remember my physical therapist, my freshman year at West Virginia, told me that.
Really?
I never forgot it. And it was like, man, all
Hit
I
you with
really
some hip
have,
shit.
yeah, all I really have is like right now. Because it's like, I can't prove that I was even here this afternoon,
Yeah.
like an hour ago. But all I have is this very moment that I'm in. Like, this is our reality, dude. What are we going to do with that?
Dude, and death, dude, it brings it. I don't know if you've ever, and I think I'm very lucky to have seen like my grandmother pass the way that she did, like in a bed, in the house that she spent 70 years in. All her whole family gets to see her and say goodbye. She just was like, see ya, fell asleep, but lived her whole life through her faith, lived her whole life through her family, complete servant to everyone around her. And she got to go more peacefully than anyone else
Yeah.
I mean, way more peacefully than all the, you know, people that I grew up with that passed young, that were just living through full of debauchery and sex and drugs and mayhem and all the stuff. They went young.
Yeah.
You know, like this kind old lady that just gave her life to everyone and God and church and everything, just gets to cuddle up in her more warm bed and be like, okay,
Time to go.
fall asleep.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, even my stepmom, like she no pain, even though she has a tumor, no pain, smiling. She knows that she's going to go, but everyone's getting to come and see her and talk to her. And she's in her house. And it's like, it's a lot to be said for like the way those people live their life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they might not have been billionaires, but man, they lived righteous lives.
I think
You know
we're
what I mean?
missing a big piece of what we're meant to experience in life because we don't live near our grandparents anymore. Like I live in a neighborhood as a lot of Indian, well, most people, like a lot of Indian families, they live 3 generations. It's the grandparents, the kids, and then the kids' kids are on almost every house. And you think about even like the studies on longevity, when a grandparent is around their kids, it extends their life something like, I don't know, 10 years just by being around the grandkids.
Really?
And so they all benefit. And it's like you have, there's nothing you can trade for experience, right? You have to go through it. I really think we're missing something in our culture because like my parents live in Florida, my brother and sister, my sister's in Vietnam, my brother's in Pittsburgh, you know, we see each other once a year, but when you're able to like spend time and break bread and live life and do community. And to me, like it says on my website, a home isn't a place to live in, it's a place to build your legacy. That's why I feel so passionate about this too, because it's literally where you're going to spend most of your time. So it's what's more important than that outside of food and shelter and or clothing. But
God, man, it's deep. It's you know, who I walk in and 2 of our, Aaron and Mike and I were all talking or whatever, and somebody brought up like ayahuasca, you know, and I'm like, you know, and of course everyone like went right to me. You've done it, right? I'm like, no, I've never done ayahuasca. And there's also a part of me that's like, I don't know if I want to do it.
yeah,
You know, like there's a part of me, there's like that half of me that's like, oh man, it'd be great to purge and go to these like dimensions or whatever. And then there's another part of me that's like, I already kind of know. Everyone knows how they should be living. Like David Goggins, name it.
yeah,
Name like all the most influential people in the world, the people that are really making a difference and really impact the Rock, people that are like really living their life to the fullest, leaving these massive legacies.
yeah,
Dude, they're all about serving others and just doing what they say they're going to do and not letting themselves down and staying disciplined. Everyone knows. So I believe like your faith and God and spirit and everything, everyone knows exactly the rules to this game.
yeah.
Everyone knows.
Instinctively know it.
You instinctively know.
You have to like fight to change those rules.
Yeah.
To me though, talk about ayahuasca. To me, that's a shortcut to what you can get through discipline.
Yeah.
And every shortcut has a price tag on it. So to me, like, I'm extremely leery of that. And I've looked into the history of it too.
Have you gone
goes
down
deep,
the rabbit
bro.
hole? Oh,
Goes
yeah,
deep,
dude. It's ancient.
Like, you look at like the book of Enoch and stuff like that, the fallen angels that came down.
Yeah.
They taught man, it was called pharmacy.
Yeah.
So cutting of roots is called as well. And it's like, well, like take ayahuasca. How do you know you pick this root out of the jungle, you boil it, you do all these steps to it, and it produces this chemical?
This hallucinogen.
Like, come on, bro. Like, are you telling me that you went through trial and error to get to that? Like, how many people died
And your chemistry
boiling these roots? Like, there's no way you could, unless someone or being told you how to do that. That's the way my brain works. So I'm extremely cautious of that stuff. I think through fasting, through meditation, through prayer, through just being present, you get that stuff. Like it says, pray without ceasing. How is that possible? How am I supposed to pray all day? No way you can do that. But to me, that means you are in communion. You're in relationship all day. You can have a conversation at any time.
You're serving all day long.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind.
Totally.
You know, but yeah, God, I mean, it's just been a trip. Like the last few weeks of my life have been I would say the heaviest few weeks in a positive way.
Yeah.
Because like there's all of these like financial and business stresses and family and kids getting older, going through different stresses and the newborn and, you know, my divorce and the relationship, like, and all of this stuff. And you're trying to like put all the pieces together, keep everyone happy, which is impossible, right? Because you're going to have to say no.
Yeah.
You're going to have to hold people accountable, yourself and whoever else that you have relationships with when you're like leading your household, and then coming to work and doing all this. So it's been then death and all this stuff has just been like, and the only thing that's kept me balanced is like, okay, just staying in routine, stay in your routine, plant the seeds. That's why I think it's so relevant, the seed time and harvest. Stay in your routine. Get up early like you said you were going to do. It changes your life. You wake up before everyone else is awake and you start moving your body and you start but you can't do that now when we're older.
Yeah.
You can't go to bed at 1 a.m. watching some TV or whatever and then think you're going to get up at 5:15.
Yeah.
You can, but you're not going to be well.
No.
Your body needs some deep sleep. So I'm like researching sleep, like, oh my God, I'm not getting any sleep. I did the brain scan with Tom's wife, and she was like, you're stressed out of your mind, dude.
Yeah.
You know, here's where your dopamine is, here's where this is, your sleep is terrible. You need a nighttime routine. It wasn't a morning routine. She's like, you need a nighttime routine.
Yeah.
And I was like, I do need a nighttime routine because I've mastered I'm beginning to master it again, but I've mastered the morning routine multiple times in my life.
Oh yeah.
With
We used to have a
boxing and with
2-hour
everything
routine.
else. Like getting up 4:45, this, there, coffee. I mean, just like a robot. Coffee, this, that, gym, boom, shower, same lotion, same, boom, suit, off to work. Right. And that's when I was in like this really good flow. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, no. That was when you were a little bit younger.
Yeah.
You're going to need to now get the back end. Or the front end. You got to get the nighttime routine down too. No screen time. You need to read something powerful. You need to talk to your person. Think about your kids. Think about your day. The next day. You know what I mean?
I'm super curious because there's a lot of times where I look at my life right now and I'm like, Alex got it way worse than me. You know, it's like I got a lot going on, but like there's people that look to you right inside of our company. You got 20, 30 some agents that call you at all times of the day. And you've got essentially kind of two chapters. You got your family, your older kids. Now you have a younger kid, and you got all these moving parts, dude. Like, I don't know how you do it sometimes, to be honest. I'm like, but like, my question is, you're seen as the rock in so many scenarios. Like, you're the anchor point. How do you maintain that, man?
Well, I've failed a lot of people through the time of it too, right? I've let a lot of people down because when you're that person, and I've been that person for my mom, for my brother, for my extended family, where I was always like, look to me for whatever. I mean, I was getting a call from, someone I grew up with today that I was supposed to go to a court date, with a gun charge and all this stuff. Like, dude, I need you to be a character witness for me.
Yeah.
And I'm going through all this stuff with him this morning. And I'm like, so I've been that person for a long time, but I also let him down. because, weeks ago at my grandmother's funerals, I'll be there for you. Got you.
Yeah.
I couldn't be there for him. So I've also had to learn how to say no, which has been really hard for me. Right. But
you're a natural giver.
Just yes. And then, so I've done a lot of good, but I've also disappointed and let a lot of people down.
Yeah.
Because I have so many people that pull on my coat, and then I'm like, oh, give me a minute. That minute turns into, how many times have I text you back? I'm like, dude, 5 minutes. Fucking 3 hours goes by, and I'm like, oh, dude, what's up? You're like, dude, I got that handled already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have not by any means mastered it. It's just been more of like, honesty. It's just been more through like honesty and communication of taking ownership of when I screwed it up.
Yeah.
I think the biggest part of that journey of juggling all this is knowing when to say, I'm sorry. I should have been there. Sorry, I should have called you back.
Yeah.
Dude, that's my bad.
Yeah.
Because I've let down so many people through that. My ex-wife, Haley, my daughter, my son. So what I've done recently, because I've taken some serious strides with this, and I've had to, if we were going to level up in business the way that we are, of like, what are my immediate, like the most important things in my life? Like, what is, like, they can't be that many, right? Because then you really can't. And how do I stay present with like the most important things in my life, right? Which is, you're number one. We are number one. Like if I'm not taking care of me, dude, there's no way I'm going to have the bandwidth or the energy to take care of all these people, right? So really trying to be like, okay, whether it's my food sobriety has been big, dude, no alcohol, none of that stuff. And then getting into a routine where one of my old therapists told me, like, hey man, you need to calendarize even little things like text your daughter. You need to put everything on a calendar, and when it notifies you, it's up to you whether or not you're going to take action, because Siri or Google's never going to forget. You are.
Yeah.
But Siri and Google will never forget. So I've done a few things very, very well, which is identify Haley, my daughter, Jet, the baby, myself, my business partners, my team is obviously you're going to connect more with certain individuals, but the team is falls kind of under just like the work and everything that goes into like what we're building here.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some people on the team that wish we connected more or whatever it is, but that will just grow.
Yeah.
You naturally bond with certain people. But then also like, okay, my dad, he's going through a tough time. My mom's going through a tough time. My brother and a few other, like, God, as hard as that is, they raised me. They did everything for me. I have to close this box because this one is the only one that is going to really make me whole. And Mom will call you back. Not feeling like, hey, I can't do that.
Yeah.
If I could, I would. Hey, Dad, I can't come tonight. I'm so sorry. Why? Jets basketball. I got to get back to the baby. Mulan's not feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't come. Instead of, let me do that. I'll be there tonight at 9:30. And now my whole night schedule's all screwed up. So really just being able to say no to the people that have like, that you feel the most guilty saying no to, and saying yes to all the people that are just your rock.
Yeah.
That's, and scheduling it out like a weirdo. Dude, I have in my calendar, text Haley, I love you. Text Jet, I love you. Text Mulan, I love you. Wake up Jet for school. Wake up Mulan. Shower. Dude, it all, and what I've noticed over the last like 4 or 5 months of doing my morning is, I think you'll probably notice if you go onto like Slack, you'll see a 6:45, 6:44, 6:47. I'll say something to the team. So I'm not 100%. I'm not batting 1,000 on my own, but I'm getting really, really good at like building. And seed time and harvest, like you can't learn this overnight.
Yeah.
Like it takes lots of time to go, oh man, I'm in this rhythm now where at this time I always send that text at this time. And all of a sudden it just becomes like muscle memory.
Yeah.
Where you're just like going and going and going. And so I'm getting better at it, but I've let a lot of people down on that journey.
The thought hit me like, you can't be everything to everyone. And like going back to being present, like you got to be present with yourself first and foremost. Cause if I use the example of like a cup, Like you can't pour an empty cup. If my cup's empty, I got nothing to give. Like I got to fill my cup up first, make sure that I'm good so that I can give to everyone else. And obviously like there's flow to that. Like when my daughter's waking up at 3 a.m. and my wife needs me to feed a new baby we got coming inside, I'm like, hey babe, I need my sleep. You know, it's just like, you have to understand that to me is the wisdom of knowing the chapters that you're in life. Like my morning routine used to be waking up at 5, you know, coffee, my whole morning cocktail and all this other stuff. And it's just like, I don't have time for that anymore. I went to bed at 11:30 last night. We're dealing with house stuff. Like I'm not getting up at 6 or 5. I'm getting up at 7, get my close to 8 hours, you know? So.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, like surrounding yourself strategically, surrounding yourself with people that are going to make you better in that way, that are better than you.
Yeah.
Like the Mikeys.
Yeah.
You know, like Mikey's a guy that like you look to and you go, wow, man, you're a really disciplined guy. Like you're a great dad. You're like, how do you know, and having the courage and the humility to go, how do you do that? Mm-hmm. What do you just like you just asked me, I do the same thing with him. Hey, how do you, cause I know what's going on. So I'm like, dude, how do you juggle all that?
Yeah.
And he's like, and so I'm learning from him. He learned from them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's nobody has it figured out on their own, man. Everyone has seeked the knowledge and then had the humility to go, hey, dude, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me what your schedule is? What workouts are you doing?
It's like that,
you know what I mean?
Of being a self-made man.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more BS than anything in the world. We're all a product of other people. Like, yes, I'm the farmer. I got to plant the seed, but like, I don't bring the harvest. I just plant and then I wait and I water.
Yeah.
And
you heard about all the other farmers. So you're like, I don't farm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, dude, like, let's wrap this thing up, man. And
yeah.
I'm curious, like your thoughts, like what does presence mean to you?
Oh my God. Dude, that's a whole week ago.
We might need to do a part 2.
I think we should do a part 2 of just being present because, I mean, it's, oh my God, it's the most important thing you could possibly do. I mean, it's in today's world, specifically in the world of phones and texting in front of someone or sitting at a dinner on your phone or scrolling through TV while your wife or your kid's talking to you and you're like, huh? Presence is very, very, very robust. Like it's not just like, oh, I was listening to you.
Yeah.
It's present in so many moments, you know, present with the Uber driver that was talking to you. You didn't just blow him off. Present with yourself at the gym, present with this conversation in here today, you know, like being aware in the car when you're listening to the audiobook. Were you present when you were listening to the audiobook, or were you off in the clouds or scrolling through your phone at the red light because you couldn't sit still? Like, dude, I think presence is, I need to work on, that's another level that I'm trying to get to.
I think
that's my presence.
I think that's one thing I love about this so much.
Yeah.
Is like, you kind of have to be present.
Right there. Yeah.
I don't know too many other times where it's a conversation where you're like, looking someone in the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Like usually we're doing like me and you got a text, you got a call,
just shoot the shit
right back.
You know?
So yeah, let's wrap this thing up. But like, I would want to know what your advice would be to someone to say, how do I feel like my life is flying by. I don't remember what I did yesterday. What would you give them as advice to say, hey, this is how you become more present? Start slowing life down and start living life more.
Oh my gosh. I would honestly say for anyone that feels like life is racing past you and the days are racing past you and the weeks are racing past and the months and the bills are racing past and you just can't seem to catch up. You have to stop. Mm-hmm. You have to stop and watch all the bullshit run past you. Because when you're stopped and you have to say, no, hold on. No, I can't go tonight. No, I'm not going to go to that happy hour. No, I'm not going to go watch the Nuggets game. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to. Hold on. I need to figure out why everything's moving so fast because you're not going to know. For everyone is individual. Individuals are going to be different as to why they're letting it all pass by. It could be addictions. It could be whatever it is. It's like making them forget what they're doing, obsessed with work, but not worried about their family. Well, they need to structure their schedules better. You need to just stop and listen. And you have to truly go in your head and it's your fault. Mm-hmm. It's like you talk to an addict right? Someone with an addictive personality, alcoholic, coke addict, somebody that's just out, someone that's just out of their head doing something they shouldn't be doing. That's consumed them. The first thing of part of recovery is admitting that this is really ruining them. You have to stop and go, why is this happening?
Yeah.
And you're going to, and you have to be honest with yourself about, I'm not getting up early. I drank on Thursday and Friday. I know I should have sent that. I didn't do it. No, and you have to start like categorizing all the things that you're missing. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because you're missing all of it.
Dude,
you're missing everything. And so you have to stop and you have to self-evaluate why I'm not going to the gym. I'm not doing this. I'm not drinking my water. You start thinking of all the things you're not doing to become the man or woman that you're trying to be. It's going to look like it's 1,000 miles away. Mm-hmm. And then you should probably go to a mentor or someone that is living like that and go, hey, I've just realized that I'm jacking everything up.
Yeah.
Show me. And you have to stop and self-evaluate where you're failing, what's going on. Then you have to have the humility to go, okay, who's doing what I want to do? You. Mm-hmm. Hey, I figured all this out about myself. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Can you help me?
Yeah.
And no, you can't. Okay. Can you help me? Oh man, I shouldn't work here then. I should go work for the B1 team, or I should go work for this company, or I should get out of this career or whatever. But you need to go find the people that you want to be like or be around. And you need to start strategically setting up the people in your life that are going to help you get, because you're not going to get there. It's a perfect thing you said. The self-made shit's bullshit. Yeah. You need to go find the people that are going to lift you up with them and say, oh no, yeah, let's go. You want to get better.
We're opening up a lot of cans here.
Yeah, let's go.
But I'm so glad we started with this presence piece, because what I took away from what you just said is like, you got to know where you're going in order to be present with where you're at. And if you don't know where you're going, then it's going to be really hard to be present.
Impossible.
So you got to stop and figure that out. And then when you know where you're going, you know what to say no to. Because I know this is a distraction, this is a distraction, this is a distraction. Like, with that said too, like, I need to spend time with my wife and watch some TV. Like, that's relaxing time. Dude, you know what I mean? Like, that's not the lack of presence.
No, so, she goes in that little box you just closed up. So that's all good.
Man. So let's wrap it up with that, man. You know, your presence is a present.
Yep.
This is part 1 of this. And I think part 2 will be going with how do you know where you're going?
Yeah, how do you know where you're going? I like
how do you get present with where you're going? So appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, bro. This is a pleasure. And this is episode 2. Peace.